Pasito tum tum, pasito tum tum, pasito tum tum. Pasito.
Hi, I'm back! And welcome to my classic modern reviews. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna do. I'll be giving my quick thoughts on the first half of the summer movies. Now, I'm not gonna do them all. I'm just gonna do 8 short reviews. I'm not gonna rate them. I'm just gonna say if they're good or bad. And if I have time, I might work on a second half later on. So if there is a summer movie that I missed that you don't see in this review, I'm not sorry. So let's start out with Finding Dory, the sequel from Finding Nemo that earned the hearts of many and my own. However, did this sequel earn the hearts of many again? The answer is... it's yes! It's been a year since Finding Nemo, but now Dory, the blue fish who has short memory loss, starts to remember a few glimpses of her parents and travels once again with Marlin and Nemo to find her parents. This is definitely better than the first one since Dory is more interesting than Nemo, and you can tell by watching it again. Her story is tragic, heartbreaking, focusing on how severe her illness is, and the fact that Pixar has a mental disabled character as the lead makes it in some ways a fresh story that builds up for a good payoff in the end. The animation is awesome and colorful with the ocean and the fish, the original characters are still good, and the new ones are good as well. It touches on adult themes of mental disabilities, parental loss. It's a film that kids will enjoy and adults will love to tears. This is a definite fresh fish to eat. Now we move on to our second animated picture, Angry Birds, based on the popular iPhone game of the early 2010s. Now the idea to make a full-length motion picture about angry birds from an app that causes destruction, and barely has any destruction, seems like a tough challenge to pull off. Unfortunately, these are Angry Birds that fall short of hitting the last pig. So it's the land of birds, where among them lives a misunderstood angry bird, until pigs come into their land and steal their eggs, which makes him lead the clan of birds to go after the pigs and rescue the eggs. The thing that disappoints me about this movie is it had the potential to be better than it was. When you have a commercial, toy, selling movie being surprisingly good and funny, you expect from now on all commercial, toy, selling movies to be good. But I don't blame him as much. I mean, how many bird jokes can you come up with? The animation looks good and some of the characters are okay, but it's not enough to save this film. The jokes fall flat, the pigs are a bore, the pop culture references annoy me, and I just don't like this guy's voice. It's not horrible, but when you think of an angry bird, this is not what you expect to sound as.
You're the only one that's had cake! Oh, that's good stuff. Anybody want to eat some cake off their dad or husband? Who needs plates when you got this guy's face, right?
Probably the kids will enjoy this film, but I recommend you stick with the app game. This is a fish, you'd rather give it a pass. Now we move on to Warcraft, another base video game movie. Now I didn't know what I was gonna get because I never played the game, so from what I saw, some of the hardcore fans might enjoy this movie. But for the casual viewers, as I am, might scratch their little heads and ask themselves, what the hell did just happen? Now here is a world of magic where orcs and humans fight one another for land until one of the orcs joins the humans to stop an evil orc wizard. The action is good, the music score is awesome, and the visuals look amazing, making this magical world of humans and creatures feel like the Lord of the Rings. Too bad the visuals were more interesting than the story or anything else. The human characters are boring, the orcs are okay, and the plot was at times too difficult to follow that I wasn't as invested as I hope I would. If you liked it, that's great, but for me, I saw it once, don't need to see it again. This is a fish with no flavor on it, that might as well give it a pass. Now for the fourth review is Me Before You, the new tearjerker for teenage girls in this romance film. While for me, it's an enjoyment to see these girls getting manipulated for the same stuff over and over again. But it doesn't mean it's bad. This is based from a book about a rich banker getting paralyzed after an accident, later is taken care of by Daenerys from Game of Thrones. They start off sour at first, but then fall in love with each other while she tries to change his mind from getting his life taken away. I will say, whether you believe the romance or not, these characters are not boring, especially Emilia Clarke. I really liked how she delivers her lines with her facial expressions, though at times it gets too tiring with her face moving uncontrollably that I just wanted somebody to put tape on her face. I guess the only reason girls and even boys liked it is probably for selfish reasons. Girls wish they could be slaves for good-looking guys as him, and guys wish they could have Daenerys on her knees for us 24/7. I could see the chemistry there, the characters are fun, despite its choppy storytelling, generic message, and corniness, it was still fun to watch. This is a fish I would definitely try again. Moving on to the fifth review is, help me out guys, because this is kinda hard to say, it's a long title. It's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 Out of the Shade? Aw, missed! The Michael Bay formula still lives, it is as stupid as you would expect it to be. I will say, I'm one of those 1% who thought the first ninja movie wasn't as bad as many thought it was. I mean, it's dumb, but even the old movies are dumb. You have turtles as ninjas. Sounds awesome and yet stupidly hilarious. But this is just Michael Bay dumb. So the four turtles are back to go after Shredder from the first film. Later they confront a new villain called Krang, who plots to take over the world. Even though Michael Bay didn't direct the film, in fact he was the producer, you can see his fingerprints all over it. Overexposed CGI, too much plot and no rest, the characters are annoying, especially the Rhino and the Warhawk. Ooh, I hated those two! Sexually exploiting hot-looking women, not to mention the pop cultural references which, God, I'm sick of them! I will say they try to give some emotional investment with the turtles wanting to fit with society, but as most Bay movies, the message seems to be a little hammered at times. Stephen Amell from Arrow doesn't do anything for me, and Megan Fox, well, it's just there. This movie belongs in those cheesy action flicks from the 80s, and it's okay if you enjoyed it, but there are way better cheesy action movies than this. This is a fish you might as well put out of his misery. We move on to our sixth review with Alice Through the Looking Glass, a sequel that everybody was dying to see. Yeah, right. That makes me want to wonder, what was the point for this to even exist when it came from a polarized Alice in 2010? Just summing up the plot makes me question, did they have to bother on making this movie? Just listen. Alice returns to Wonderland because the Mad Hatter is sad. Oh. The only way to make him feel better again is to go back in time and find his family because of family issues. This plot sounds like if it belongs in a short TV episode, not in a movie, and certainly not in this Alice. I will say, the outfits look creative and the climax is suspenseful, but if it's going to be about the Mad Hatter, make it about him only, not about knowing the troubled past of every single well-known character in Wonderland. If they can't fill in a 2-hour-long movie about one guy, then why even bother? This is a rotten fish you might as well slap Donald Trump with. Now for the seventh review is another sequel? Damn it, we have too many of them! But this one is the better one. This is The Conjuring 2, a movie that many were prey to after the movie was over for how creepy and scary it was. Was anybody preyed to after this was done? This is a spooky ghost story that takes place around the 70s without any millennial gimmicks that makes it terrifying to sit through. The Warren couple are back to investigate the case of a family in London who believe their house and their daughter are possessed by an evil spirit. It's a long road of scares, build-ups, and false scares that made the first half exhausting to be stressed out. Thankfully, the chemistry and good acting of the Warren gives some lightness to what seemed a very dark story with creepy images and psychological tricks, whether the ghosts were real or just made up. My only complaint are the same as in the first Conjuring, is that these ghosts suck at keeping themselves as secret to the outsiders. But it's still a good thrilling movie. It's a mixture of ghost scares and psychological scares that if you're brave enough to sit in the dark, make sure you have a lamp on your side, just in case. This is a fresh fish you might as well take to slap Hillary Clinton with. Now for my final review is X-Men Apocalypse. Now this is a tough one to pick. One side of me was to take it easy on it, easy peasy. On the other hand, I just want to tear it apart like a taco. I would call it the weakest of the last three with a decent effort to follow up the X-Men series. There's a new villain called Apocalypse, the first godlike mutant who returns to destroy the world. That brings the attention of the young X-Men group, Professor X, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Outcast Mystique, and many more to stop his evil plan. The challenge this movie had was to follow up Days of Future Past, which was so good for how dark it was. But as much as it tried, it fell short for having several characters and half of them are undeveloped, a villain so powerful and yet so beatable, and a plot very outdated. If this would have came out in the 90s or early 2000s, it would have been amazing, but there are some good things in it. Quicksilver is back, Magneto has more character development, it has a nice cameo, the other X-Men are okay, and despite my early complaints on the villain, he seems very threatening. It's not the worst X-Men movie as many view it to be, it's at best decent. This is a fish I might as well give to Sanders as a gift. Now before I end it, here's a recap of these movies if I can borrow from Roger Ebert's book. Finding Dory is a thumbs up, Angry Birds runs out of birds and falls into thumbs down. Warcraft is a green magical thumbs down. Me Before You gets a thumbs up. Ninja Turtles 2 is a thumbs down. Alice can choke on a thumbs down for all I care. The Conjuring 2 is a creepy thumbs up. And finally, X-Men Apocalypse gets a lukewarm thumbs up from me. And as an honorable mention, Captain America Civil War gets a thumbs up from me for not having their mother with the same name. There you have it, the first half of this summer. What are your thoughts on these movies? Did you like them? Have you seen them? Did you not like any of them? What's your overall take on these summer movies? I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. You can leave your comment down below, like, subscribe, tune in next time for more classic and modern reviews. That's it for today. Ciao.